Okay, hi. I'm Paul. Welcome back to Plusma-cast. So this week I have my friend Raw Chef Yin. She is a freelance educator in terms of healthy food, and so we're going to cover her journey from becoming a raw chef and the story and a bit of a story before that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So morning, Yin.
Good morning.
This is actually a pretty interesting spot you've chosen for me.
I know. I love the park and I love the outdoors and love all things nature. So.
Okay. So to sort of get the story started, now your profile is raw vegan food
Yes.
chef,
Yeah.
but you actually didn't start that off. Your earlier education vocation was in law and
Public relations.
That's
right.
which you did for quite a while.
Mhm.
You mind relating a bit about that?
Okay.
Also, like how that how you went this way before. How you came across having those ideas instead.
It wasn't an idea.
Okay.
I come from a very traditional family, so they
Right.
wanted me to. I actually wanted to study psychology,
All right.
but my parents were worried that I wouldn't be able to make money from that, and so they said, do something that is more stable, so law or be an engineer or a doctor or an accountant. So I decided to study law. So I do have a law degree, and then what happened was I kind of ended up in public relations instead, because studying law, you do need a lot of writing skills, analytical skills, logical skills, so that also applied in public relations. So I was doing that for 15 years, and then I decided to take I decided to take a career break. I just felt like what I was doing didn't have a purpose in life and wasn't meaningful enough. And
I mean, okay, so it wasn't meaningful, but in the sense that maybe it's not for you, or maybe it's time to do something else.
I think, well, there was a lot of politics
Okay.
involved in the corporate world, and I just got really tired of it. So I decided to take a break and figure out what I wanted to do in life. And then I was doing a number of things. I dabbled in arts management. I also conducted freelance PR training. At one time, I was a design thinking coach. And then I discovered raw vegan food. And I discovered my passion for that. And yeah, here I am.
Okay. So so that's a bit of a professional journey that you came to this point.
That's right.
Now, raw vegan food is okay. So how did this idea that suddenly it all clicked and the passion happened?
Okay, what happened was I discovered raw vegan food in 2014 from a blog. And then I started making. I've always liked food. I'm a huge foodie.
Well, we are Malaysians, so food is in our culture.
That's right. And I've also always enjoyed making food. I think when I moved out and I had a kitchen of my own and I started cooking, and I really enjoyed that as well. But raw vegan food, when I discovered it, I wasn't very good at making it. And I decided just for my own, it was just for my personal preference. It just was something I just wanted to learn how to make better food, make more beautiful food. It wasn't something that I was planning to get into a career. That wasn't the direction. I just enrolled in the Matthew Kenny Culinary Academy just for my own personal reasons. And then I started an Instagram. I started an Instagram account just to record that journey. But what happened was people started asking me to teach.
Right.
They were very curious about it, and it's something very new in Malaysia. I said no for a long time.
Okay.
But then after maybe about 1.5 years, I thought, you know what, I should start teaching, because I think I'm qualified enough and I've had enough experience. And that's when I started in 2016.
Okay, so let's break it down a bit.
Okay.
Okay, so first was just the discovery that, hey, let's try cooking and let's see what you could make yourself, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't just vegan food that you were trying out, perhaps, but that was the one that hit you.
So I've always been, I think I started cooking in 2004. So I've always been cooking, and then 10 years later, I found out about raw food first, and then after that I found out about raw vegan food.
Right.
And yeah, the raw food thing was just amazing because before that, food always made me feel lethargic and bloated and just very de-energized, whereas raw food was totally opposite. I suddenly felt alive, I suddenly had so much mental alertness, and I was just like mind blown. I'm like, how can food make me feel this way? And that's when I started doing more research, and I realized it was because it's raw food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been following the topic a bit, and but in different way.
Okay.
It's not so much that food leads to. I mean, not. Excuse me. It's more about health and what you can do to improve it. And something I came across in my in my observations. I was something called the Giessen therapy, where it was a raw organic food type therapy, and that basically helps the body in a huge way. Okay, maybe something you could look up for your curiosity. Yeah. Okay, so raw food was the one that helped you, and could you probably define it a bit more to say, okay, this is what it means to be doing raw food?
Okay.
Or what is the ingredients or the ideas that go into raw food?
So raw food is focused, it's all plant-based, and it's focused on vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. So there's no meat. And then if we're talking about raw vegan food, then there's no animal byproducts as well. So we don't use honey, we don't use gelatin in the food as well. Okay. And then when you say raw, it still can be heated up, just not above around 45 degrees Celsius. Some people say 42, some people 46, some say 48. But I just go around 45 degrees. And the whole idea is because a lot of times heat will destroy the nutrients, the enzymes, the vitamins, the minerals of the food. Yeah, so you can actually technically heat it up just on low heat. So we do have things like a dehydrator to heat it up, or if you want to heat it up on the stove on very, very low heat. Yeah. Still can be done.
Yeah. I mean, just to add, because on the technical side, I read Dr. Hiromi Shinya's book, The Microfactor. Dr. Hiromi Shinya, he's a professional. He's the inventor of colonoscopy, and he wrote a few books. One was the enzyme factor, and one is the microfactor. And he goes into quite technical detail. He is a doctor, and says that this is what happens. So it ties in very interestingly that this is why vegan is perhaps so powerful, in terms of body health and nutrition, because we're preserving all these things that the plant food brings. And yeah, he was quite detailed about this is what we're actually doing when we consume it and what the benefits are. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so you've sort of like dabbled into it you've cooked, dabbled into it in terms of maybe a hobby or exploration, but then you decide, okay, where can I sort of develop the skill? And that was the Matthew Kenney School.
So in 2015, I did one online course. Which covered everything on how to, everything, as in it covered like recipes on main courses, appetizers, desserts, soups, noodles, that kind of thing. So that gave me overall introduction to raw food, and then I was making it for one whole year. And then after that, the following year, I went to the Thailand Academy, which was Asia's first Matthew Kenney Culinary Academy. They've rebranded themselves now. They're called Plant Lab now, but at that time it was still Matthew Kenney. And then I took 2 more courses, one on raw desserts and one on raw detox. Right. And then after completing that, that's when I thought, okay, now I'm ready to teach, because I had a lot of requests for many months from people asking me to teach them how to make all these things that they see on my Instagram feed. Yeah, okay. So that was the beginning of it. Yeah.
Okay, so having developed your skill and then coming back to Malaysia and sort of like maybe sort of doing a bit of prep work before you say, okay, I'm open for business. Can you explain the idea of readying yourself to do this professionally? As in my classes, there's still a bit of prep work to go before, right?
Yes, and I think it's something that it wasn't a decision that I said, okay, now I'm going to do this and I'm going to make lots of money and this is going to be a career. This is more like, oh, you guys want to learn? Oh, okay, all right. Let me figure out, you know, the class syllabus. Let me figure out what the handouts are. I did some test classes as well with friends and family and got feedback as well before, you know, before opening it to public. Yeah, so there was a lot of thought that went into it. And then after that, I also took a raw teacher training intensive from Karen Noller. So that was a 3-month course that actually teaches you everything you need to learn how to be a raw food teacher, from from deciding what to teach, to developing recipes, to marketing, to picking a venue, to actual scripts on how to introduce yourself, how do you set up the class, things like that. So I did a training on that as well, and that was very, very helpful, and that was very, very useful as well.
I'm a bit surprised that such things exist in terms of, I mean, there's coaching classes, but then there's coaching specifically to educate.
Yes.
Oh, that I'm a bit surprised to hear that.
And it's a really, really good course. I can show you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I could actually show you the syllabus.
Show me and the audience who may be curious about this.
5,000 ringgit.
Okay, that's an aside. Okay, so when you got started, obviously there was the start small thing that happens when anything new.
Yes.
And how was that? You know, how were you? You know, was there like the jitters, or you know, there's thoughts of, can I do this, or how will my audience react? So in other, there is the, you know, there's us wanting to do this, and then there's, you know, the guests going, will they react correct? You know, will they be alright? Am I being no? So how do you manage your the expectations of the guests?
Well, I think it was more of they wanted to learn, not I wanted to teach.
Okay.
You know, they came to me. But after that, subsequent ones, yes, I was going out to people. I mean, I was just talking to anybody and everybody who wanted to take me in, and I said, I can do this for you, I can teach this for you, you know, that kind of thing. I think just preparation, because even until now, I think before each new class that I teach, I always do a dry run on my own.
All right.
And I actually record it as well. So I go through all the recipes, I actually plan out my script as well, what I want to say, what I want to share. And I do that, I record that, and then I listen back. Sometimes I record it on video and I watch back and I figure out where are the areas of improvement that I need to work on, and how do I make this clearer, how do I make this more understandable. So I think once you are well prepared, then on the actual day itself, that really helps a lot. And yeah,
I mean,
that's how I do it.
It's almost like any other vocation, that on the one hand, we think that we can do this as hobby because we're rather skilled, but to like professionalize it still takes a bit, you know, that extra mile of effort and preparation to
definitely.
make it work.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
Okay, so among other things that you've managed to do in, you know, despite, you know, not just running classes, but also there's efforts in self-promotion. There's also efforts in, well, among other things is your book.
Right, that's right.
Okay, so how much later? Oh, you brought your book.
I did.
Okay, so, probably we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, because I wanted to show the book.
Okay, so how did the book idea come about?
The book idea, actually, for almost 2 years, I actually had people asking me, when are you going to write a book? You know, you should really write a book. When can we buy your book? And for some time, I just said, no. It wasn't something that I was interested in. Hey, look, that's the book. It's appearing from nowhere.
Okay, so this is her book, Raw Vegan Delights Asian Edition. We'll get that. We'll get into more detail in a bit.
Okay, but I will hold it and close it. No. Okay. So and then what happened? So I initially said no, but then what happened was I got accepted into the MIT Beyond Food Bootcamp, and the tuition fees for that was very high. The fees itself was $6,000 US. So I realized that I needed to do a bit of fundraising, and that's where the book came in as part of the fundraising effort as well. So any of you who buys my book, it goes into my MIT tuition fund. Yeah, so that's actually how it all came about.
Okay.
You can hear that I'm quite a reluctant It's like initially I'm like, no, I don't want to teach. Then like, no, I don't want to write a book. Like, hey, I'm teaching like 400 other students by now or something like that. And like, hey, I have a book. Yeah.
Okay, but among other things is, among other things is all this is perhaps ties back to your PR skills. Does it tie back to your PR skills?
It does. I think everything that I've done in public relations has actually helped with what I'm doing now. I mean, in public relations, there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of writing, so all this writing as well, and also going to the press and promoting things, promoting and marketing as well. So, what I learned in the corporate world has been actually very, very useful and very helpful to what I'm doing today.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's, I mean, it sounds dramatically different that, you were used to be in corporate and PR, but then those skills still have a benefit. It's just that the topic is yourself now.
Correct.
Yourself. Okay. Okay, so we've covered, your start, your early professional start. We've covered your journey from, into suddenly discovering raw food, raw vegan food. Then then your skills, and then your business in a sense. Now, one of the things that it was interesting that you kind of blasted off for the whole world to know is also your new Airbnb experience.
Oh, okay.
So they discovered you and approached you?
So they wrote to me saying that Airbnb Experiences is coming to Kuala Lumpur, and they asked me if I was interested in being a host and to propose an idea. So I went through that process where I needed to propose an idea, and then after that we had a few con calls about it, and then and then we structured it and restructured it and revised it until it was right for what they thought would be good for the audience and the tourists coming to Malaysia. And then I was selected as one of the core group of Airbnb Experiences hosts in Kuala Lumpur. So we went live on February 19th.
Okay, so that is how did that translate into value for you?
I think it goes out to a new audience, a wider audience, also an international audience. So now I have people coming from my classes who are from New York, from Illinois, from Germany, from Denmark, from Ireland. I also have a few Malaysians joining the classes as well, so I thought that was pretty interesting because I've actually tailored it more for people coming to Malaysia who are visiting Malaysia. Perhaps that they're visiting Malaysia for the very first time. So it's an introduction to Malaysian culture and Malaysian food. But yes, I've had Malaysians coming in to join as well because they're curious, or they want to learn how to make healthier food, or they want to learn more about raw vegan food preparation.
Right. That's very interesting. Okay, so I mean, what I've noticing here is that there's the very humble start or the very small start, and it seems to keep growing.
Yes, because I work very hard and I'm a perfectionist.
Okay, so in terms of working hard, let's put it in some metrics. It's like, okay, how much effort, let's say, in a day does that go in?
I want to say 100%, but it can't be 100% because I also do the music side as well.
Oh, music.
I'm also, I divide my time between food and music. So,
all right.
I'm still the artist manager for Samad, legendary guitarist in Malaysia.
Which I hope to get on my show someday.
Pay him the money. Show me the money. I'm the manager. You have to talk to me.
Okay.
But a huge amount of time. Sorry, let me start. I wake up in the morning going like, oh my god, what am I gonna make today? Actually no. So morning I try and dedicate that maybe the first 3 hours on the music side, and then the rest of it it's focused on the food side. And I usually don't take a break throughout the week, so I'm actually working from 7 days a week. I actually feel a bit, last week it was Wesak, and I kind of took a day off to spend time with friends, but I kind of felt a bit angsty as well. I was like, I'm not in the kitchen, I'm not doing my food thing, I'm sitting here and we're playing board games and we're trying to make a cardboard house out of Nintendo Labo. But that was quite cool. But yeah, so I did do something in the morning though. I did make like healthy Ferrero Rocher balls for them to try. So that is kind of good. And then at night we had music rehearsal. So that was also kind of work as well. But in between that time, there was a huge amount of hours that wasn't spent.
So notice it's a very focused day. So every day is almost a very focused ritual or very focused exercise.
It depends on what I need to do because there are different things. If I know that if I'm developing recipes, then yeah, I'll be very focused on developing recipes for maybe for clients or for a certain workshop that I'm teaching. If not, then I would like to develop new recipes as well, just based on very Asian flavors and Asian tastes. So I'm testing out things, testing out different, I'm doing like little experiments. Like yesterday I was trying to make bak kwa with tempeh, but I'm trying to flavor it with all the usual flavorings. So yeah, I think I'm getting close to that. So I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, secret project in the making.
It's not secret.
Okay,
I
no,
announced
so
it
much.
to the world.
Okay.
I usually don't do secret projects
No.
because I don't believe in keeping secrets, and I believe in collaboration.
Okay.
So I'm very open to telling people like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Unless I'm working with a certain company and they want to keep it under wraps. But if it's my own individual stuff and personal stuff, I just announce it on my social media. So if you follow my Instagram stories, you'll see what I'm doing every single day. Like I most probably do like 10 to 15, sometimes 20 Instagram stories in a day. So there's no secret.
Okay. Okay. All right. So now let me just ask a bit about. Okay. So you've been developing this program. You've been getting a lot of exposure. What could there be in terms of future plans for yourself? Like what might you see yourself doing, or what you have in the pipeline?
Okay. I'm actually quite go with the flow kind of person. Even in my previous jobs, I didn't have a huge goal that I needed to reach. I was just like, oh, this company, employs me. Oh, I got headhunted by Symantec. Oh, I got headhunted by Oracle. Oh, yeah. But you know what? For this one, I think I would. Okay, I've been approached to write more books, so I think that's something that I should do. I mean, I just had somebody messaging me yesterday saying like, I'm not in Malaysia, can I buy your cookbook? So just reaching out to a greater audience. I think I also want to look into doing online courses as well, so I can reach out internationally.
Right.
I would love to travel to more countries to teach. I've only been doing the Asia circuit right now, so I think if I would like to travel to more countries, and I would like to discover
other ways of other styles or other ways of vegan.
No, I truly at this moment in time I'm focused a lot on raw vegan.
Okay.
But I would like to maybe meet up with maybe a raw vegan Korean chef and learn from that person. That would be really interesting, or maybe Japanese food as well. Because I think there's so much. There are a lot of resources, there are a lot of books and videos on Western food, but very little on Asian food. So that's my that's my passion. That's why it's Asian edition.
Oh, definitely put that in. Definitely need to emphasize the Asian edition part.
Yeah. Okay. Because I bought all every raw Asian cookbook. I bought everyone that I can get my hands on, everyone I can find, and that's not a lot. It's just a handful.
Okay.
Whereas if you're looking at Western, there's like tons.
Okay, so that's looking for looking ahead. So now let me. Okay, so the next one I want to ask is that for anybody who might think getting into culinary. Okay, you got it as offshoot from doing it as a hobby, and specifically raw vegan too. Okay. So for anyone who wants to think that, hey, can I do this, or is food, I don't know. I guess the point I'm trying to ask is perhaps turning a hobby into something professional. Like, what can you suggest to them? Or
I think it's something that they need to be really passionate about and something that they really believe in. Because honestly, it's not going to be easy. I mean, I do have people coming up to me and going like, oh, so you're the raw vegan chef from Malaysia. This is someone in Bali. He walked up and introduced himself to me. And he said, it must be hard. And then I was like, hard? And then I thought about it and it's like, oh yeah, actually it is hard. You know, because there's not a huge demand for it. It's still very, very new. You need to educate people about it. People still shy away and they're afraid. And they go like, oh, what if this is too cooling? Or they go like, ew, raw, yuck, you know, so.
Yeah.
It's not like if I go like, hey, I make ice cream. They're like, ooh, ice cream, will you feed us some? Yeah, although I do start off with like, hey, that's raw vegan ice cream. So I think it's something that they need to, I would think that they have to be like, it's something that they really, really want to do before getting into it. Although they could just try it out and see how it works for them, and then if it doesn't work, then do something else. So.
Okay, so before I run out of questions, I have my final three. Okay, so I do it for every episode. It's my 3 footnote questions. Okay, so for a young person who wants to, you know, get into creative industry, so in maybe culinary or maybe arts or such, so what advice might you have for, let's say, the young person who is thinking of how doing something creative for their doing something creative for their vocation, perhaps?
I don't know whether I'm the right person to ask. You know why? Because I've given advice to a lot of young people, and then they don't listen to me, or they get upset and they walk off and they storm off and they slam the door and they. So I don't know. It's like, should I really even give any advice to young people?
Right. Okay, it probably hasn't worked so far, has it?
I don't know. I'm giving people advice who are like half my age, and they don't understand why I'm giving them that advice, and they say I'm parenting them, and that I'm annoying. So no, I'm not leaving you.
Okay, fine. What about?
It's true.
No. Yeah, fair enough.
Anyone who's watching this show, if you want specific advice, you can write directly to me, and I will. And tell me that you've seen this show, and then I will give you specific advice. But if it's just general.
Okay. Well, I'll have to try my next one then. For someone who wants to gain their skills then, okay?
Okay.
So for someone who's looking to gain their skills, you know, again, whether perhaps in your field, which is raw vegan, or even in something more general like culinary, or even something like general, you know, the idea of creative arts. What advice might you have for those type of persons?
I think go and learn from the best. For me, there were a lot of raw vegan schools around. I checked out. There was there was also Living Light, and there were some in Bali, some others in Thailand, in Phuket, and all that. But I decided to choose Matthew Kenny, which is now Plant Lab, because I felt that they were the most cutting edge, and they were using very innovative techniques, and they were just right up there. And I thought, okay, you know, if I want to learn, let me learn from the best.
Right.
And I'm very glad I did that. And even for my raw food teacher training, I took it from Karen Nola, who has been doing this for 25 years. You know, so it's also, and she's also someone that is like very extremely experienced, because I remember when I asked her all the questions that I had, and she had already undergone all that, so she could share her experience and advise me how to approach things. So don't skimp on education. That's what I feel. And yeah, from the best.
Okay, my last one. For someone who is starting out in this field in terms of vocation or profession, in a professional capacity, what advice might you have for them?
I guess, maybe I just share my experience. I mean, when I first started out, I did get a lot of rejections. you know, compared to now I'm rejecting people. Now I'm turning down, I have to turn down a lot of requests because I had, you know, I want to focus and I know exactly what I want to do. But when I first started, I just kind of like went up to everybody and just kept pitching and just kept at it, even though a lot of people turned me down. And I'm glad I did that because it gave me, I tried out so many things, and it just gave me a lot of experience in figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what I enjoy doing, and what just brings me joy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good. Very good. Okay. Now, just before I end the show, this is the part where I say, would you like to add anything else to close the show?
Oh,
you know,
okay.
even a shameless plug if you need.
Yeah,
if you want
I
to.
do shameless plugs all the time. So I teach regularly at the Masak Cooking Studio and also other cooking studios and yoga centers all over. So just check out rawchefyin.com/classes to find out where you can attend. There are sometimes free demos as well, so you can't say you can't afford it. I also do one-on-one classes, so if there are specific dishes that you would like to make. Some people want to just specifically learn ice cream, or some people want to learn bread, some people want to learn kimchi. I do that as well. I have an uncooking show called Delicious with Raw Chef Yin, so you can check that out on my YouTube channel. All my social media is Raw Chef Yin, so whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, it's all Raw Chef Yin. I'm sure you'll leave it down on the show notes below.
Yep.
And then I have a book out. The print copy has just been sold out, but you can still get my ebook. So the details for this is at rawchefyin.com/book. Yeah, so I think those are some of the items that I would like to plug. Yeah, and then just go do your research about raw vegan food to find out why I am advocating this. It has changed my life completely, from health, mentally as well, and just as a career. So it's something that I really, really believe in and I'm really passionate about.
Okay. All right. With that shameless plug by Raw Chef Yin. Okay. I'm Paul. You've been watching Plusma-cast, and as usual, if you like this show, you know, a thumbs up. If you don't like the show, thumbs down. Also, like, subscribe, or leave a comment.
Yep.
Our email, the email will be out soon, and hopefully I'll get my website done. But in any case, you've been watching the show, and I'd like to thank again my friend Yin Yin. And we will catch you in another episode of Plusma-cast. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks so much for inviting me. Bye.